Hello, my fellow Bakama. It is Converse Laces back from the graduation hiatus. I am here. Hiatus? Is that how you say that? Shut up. I am here to discuss chapter 1012. What a time to hop back into things. I'm going to kind of go through the chapter chronologically, but then I have four main areas that I want to discuss with it. So, for starters, we got the adorable picture of Kid building a bird and then being so busy building the bird that he did not realize that there were actual birds nesting in his hair, which I feel like I could relate. I feel like that might happen to me. Not the building a robotic bird, because I have no mechanical sense at all, but just generally getting so lost in something that you just don't realize that you've become a part of the landscape. So, honestly, that says a lot about Kid, that some parent thought that he was safe enough to build their nest in. I don't know, we thought he was a scary pirate, but clearly not. Anyways, moving on from that, we have the Akazuka 9. I think that's how you say that. Words are hard. But the 9 are splitting up. As they're splitting up, we kind of get four different conversations. We've got the brother talk, we have the Kappa and Izo talking about what will happen if Wano opens, which I think is interesting to actually start having that conversation. I don't know, I just like right in the middle here, to start thinking about that future concept of like, okay, what's the result whenever we win? What does Wano look like? Like, what are we fighting for? And to just kind of like remember that in the midst of the chaos. Then you have Kinemon kind of giving the order like, all right, everybody split up, time to go. Kiku confirms that she is after Kanjuro and wants to take him out. Understandable, as she's the one who failed to do that in the first place. And then you kind of have stuff going on with the Minks as Mr. Cat is figuring out that Pedro is dead, and they're just generally regrouping. So they all kind of go their separate ways. Kinemon is specifically going to find Momonosuke as well, with Kiku hopping along with him to find Kanjuro. Next you have Yamato, Momonosuke, and Shinobu are all kind of hiding out there. Yamato says he'll go on his way to create a diversion. Basically, they're off to go keep fighting, as one would want to be fighting in this giant historic battle. And then we see that Momonosuke actually has Odin's book. I feel like that probably got confirmed earlier, not confirmed, like happened earlier, but so now we see Momonosuke is reading about Odin's adventures. So I feel like that's definitely like a hint of like, okay, new information is going to be coming. What is he going to learn from that book that we don't even know yet from the flashback? Because you know, there's stuff that we didn't get from the flashback that Momonosuke will be able to learn and then potentially apply to this battle, or even that's just going to shape and change the world as we know it. Because that can happen now at any point, literally anytime, any chapter that comes out, like we can get new information that's like, this changes everything. I don't know, it's crazy. It is a crazy time to be a One Piece fan. And then finally, we move on to by far my favorite part of this entire chapter. There he is. There, I was waiting for my son to show up. Hello, son. Why are you carrying a giant bandage cross? I'm a little confused. You're kind of giving me, like, what is it, like Nick the Priest from Trigun vibes right now? I'm very curious. Very curious. Okay. He's carrying... Oh, it's a... Tell me it's Zoro! Tell me what showed up. I died. It was amazing. Oda just made... I didn't even know I had this dream, and then I had this dream, and then Oda made the dream come true within like a 1 minute span. It was phenomenal. Best part of my weekend, except for seeing my college bestie, but like it was the best part of One Piece that I've seen in a really long time. But then just in general, I want to pause here and talk about Sanji and Zoro and cut just a few of the things that happen here. It's just the way that Trafalgar Law sits, which isn't anything to do with Sanji and Zoro, but it made my day. It was the second best thing to this chapter, other than Zoro being a giant bandage cross. And he's just so casual. He's like, oh, Sanji, hello. Is that a Big Mom fight? Okay, bye. I love this man. I love he has no right being this amazingly sassy and just, oh gosh, oh Traff. So I love that. And third thing is definitely just the faith. that Zoro confirms, you know, they're like talking back and forth, like Sanji's like, how did this happen to you? And Zoro's like, it was the roof. And Sanji's like, how did you even find that? Because you suck at directions. Zoro ignored him and was just like, listen, Luffy's gonna win. Like, he figured something out before I left, he's gonna win. And so seeing that faith and just that like confirmation is very fitting of Zoro's character and his loyalty. However, you see the next panel is Sanji, like he says, well, obviously he's gonna win, but there's kind of like that ... beforehand, where it's like, he has to like think about it. Like he has to like, he's like, and then like he comes to the conclusion that like, yes, we're gonna win. It's gonna happen. I have faith in my captain. But you can tell there's this moment of hesitation before this, just this like he's just you can tell it, like that's almost like those 3 dots are like him just like processing this entire battle and like everything that's happened so far, and him just kind of like, I feel like that's Sanji's just like realization of like, holy cow, so much has happened, and yes, I have faith in my captain that, you know, we're gonna win this, but also I feel like Sanji knows that like there's still a lot left to be done. It's not just gonna be over like in like the next hour or whatever. Like he knows, like, you know, that we still got work to do. So, and then the 4th thing about the Sanji Zoro section of this that I absolutely adored, other than Zoro just constantly falling asleep, was definitely a different view of their relationship that's not the rivalry. We constantly see, whenever Zoro and Sanji are interacting, it's usually, you know, like butting heads and like, I'm being, you know, being petty little bastards like they are. And so it was nice to see that this time around, there wasn't, I mean, Zosan people are gonna have a heyday. But like for me personally, I'm like, that's not my ship. And, but there was just like that definite like camaraderie of, like Sanji didn't make fun of Zoro for being like, oh, you got hurt. Like he just like they both like stayed focused and, you know, like, what's the task at hand now? This isn't the time. We don't have time to be fighting in between each other. Zoro didn't complain about receiving help from Sanji. He like let him just wrap him up and do his thing. I guess Zoro didn't really have much choice / probably desire / strength to argue that point, but just kind of nice to see like in canon that like, hey, and like it happens all the time anyways, but just like that reminder of like, no, they're like, we love their rivalry, they love their rivalry, but they know when to set that aside and, you know, get down to business and keep busy. So then we move on to, oh gosh, Big Mom. Everyone's complaining about Big Mom these days. I think this chapter will be well received for how she is, just because she confirmed that she's not just like suddenly on the Straw Hat side. That we're not gonna have a Straw Hat Big Mom team up and, you know, go whack on Kaido's forces. Like, that's not gonna happen. So whatever happened with Otama last week was it shows that Big Mom is as temperamental and unpredictable as ever. And I mean, like, honestly, looking at this now, like, this makes sense. Like, Otama treated her nicely. Otama, like, you know, was a kid who, like, gave her food and helped her when she had amnesia. The Straw Hats are her enemies. And so it makes sense. It's like encouraging to see that like she can like still draw that line between, yes, this is how I feel towards that person. No, I still don't like them. Like, that hasn't changed. I also appreciate that the lack of a team up was completely like denied just by both parties. And Nami and Usopp were like, hey, okay, let's run. Which didn't work, which finally brings us to the last kind of just section of this is Nami. Whew. My queen showing up, getting, like, I want to say triggered, like, she just, wow, was not happy. And that's kind of the last thing I want to talk about today is just Nami's reaction to Tama getting hit. Which, okay, that might sound weird. Like, anytime that any of us sees, like, a small child get hit by a giant dinosaur person, you're like, oh! Like, that's not good. We're not happy about that. And so, but then seeing, I mean, she's specifically, very specifically, is like, Usopp tells her, like, Nami, let's get out of here. And she says, no, I don't think I can do that. She hit a child. And, like, that's the emphasis, is, like, you can't hurt kids. Which, again, like, they are, like, the good guys of this story. It makes anyone who's in the right mind doesn't want to see a child get hurt or hit. But what intrigues me is that at this point, like, Nami is usually with Usopp in the being logical about, like, if there's no other option but fighting, then yes, they'll fight. But if the logical thing in the moment for everybody's best chance of survival is to run away, then they're like, let's skedaddle, let's go. So the fact that right now she has an opportunity to run away, and honestly that would be the safest bet for both her and Tama and Usopp, and she chooses not to, intrigues me. I don't know if just this is how Oda decided to use it to, like, set up her fight with Pepe, or I don't know. Never, that's not the, I don't know, the girl dinosaur's name. I don't care. I don't know if that's what just Oda chose to set up, but I just don't picture Nami being this attached to kids. Like, I don't remember that being a part of her character. I mean, obviously with the understanding of, like, I didn't see that previous to the time skip. Since the time skip, we had Punk Hazard, which Punk Hazard was the perfect example of, like, she was about to, like, she said, like, no, we gotta help the kids. We gotta help the kids. So that was the first time, like, okay, Nami has a soft spot for kids. So this isn't a surprise. It's not a surprise at all. But it just, like, makes me wonder, when did kids become Nami's thing? Because I feel like out of all the Straw Hats, she's definitely one of the more piratey ones. Like, she has her kind of gray moral areas where it's like, well, we do what we do, and is, like, less concerned with it, just more willing to do whatever it takes to survive. So to see her get, like, this defensive over, you know, just one of the injustices of the world that they've come across, is, I don't know. I'm curious, when/why did kids become Nami's thing? So that's my observations and questions from that. And maybe I just haven't, I don't know if I'm forgetting something or what, but I'm not sure if I feel like maybe is there, like, other parallels to, like, other characters, like, honestly a parallel between, like, her and Big Mom, of, like, Big Mom has, like, you know, she's the mom, she has all these kids, but now, like, Nami's the one who's actually, like, standing up and protecting them. Like, I don't know. But yeah, so that was the chapter, and we don't have a break this week, which is amazing. So yeah, next week, it's good things. There are good things ahead. I will end that there and not keep you any longer. This is Converse Laces signing off. Say a lot, loves.